have a 273A reported east of Loop. Available officers, please respond. Children in need.
Officer Chi responding.
Every day on reservations in America, Native children are in jeopardy. Driven largely by alcohol and drug abuse, too many children suffer the inconceivable. Sexual abuse, neglect, even the murder of siblings by their own parents. With a population of over 180,000, the Navajo Nation is the largest Native reservation in the United States. Located on over 27,000 square miles of land, it encompasses parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. The median household income is $20,000 per year, with an unemployment rate of 42%, and 43% of the nation living below the poverty line. This is an environment where bad things happen, especially to young girls. Surviving in a violent atmosphere is a daily routine for too many children.
A lot of our folks, not just only on Navajo, but clear across the country in tribal communities, there's a lot of social problems that are happening. We call them monsters, modern day monsters that are beating up our people. You know, there's drugs, there's alcohol, depression, suicide, and just a loss of hope in our communities.
Everyone is going over countries thinking, oh, let's go help this third world country. I was like, well, we have a third world country in your backyard. The Navajo Nation, every reservation is a third world country, to me, in my eyes. And I call it a vicious cycle. These kids grow up seeing their parents and their grandparents on alcohol or on meth, on drugs. And they see that and they grow up thinking, oh wow, like that's what my life is gonna be, so I might as well just give up now. And so a lot of kids end up committing suicide, they end up on drugs, they end up on meth, and it's just...
But when I look back on my family, you know, that seems to be the big problem was alcohol abuse. You know, we had a lot of family members, you know, pass away due to alcohol, you know, prematurely.
Native American children suffer from abuse at one of the most alarming rates in our country. Child sexual abuse in Native America is both epidemic and holocaustic. And even tonight, a Native child in need of a safe place will have nowhere to go. In 1993, Linda Thompson founded the Naomi House to address this critical problem. Naomi House is a licensed emergency shelter contracted with the Navajo Nation, serving Native American children in need. 90% of the children that come to live at Naomi House are the victims of molestation or rape. Since its inception, Naomi House has had the privilege of extending the love of Jesus Christ to hundreds of these precious Native children.
We are contracted with the Navajo Nation as an emergency shelter for 12, plus we have a long-term foster care home that has 10 children that will just age out. They will ultimately stay here until they're 18. They do have the option to stay until they're 21 and attend a community college as well, if they want to do that. But the Navajo Nation Department of Social Services will actually pick up the children for a lot of different reasons, almost always to do with alcoholism and drug involvement, which leads to abandonment, neglect, and a lot of different kind of sexual abuse or physical abuse.
I hear the story from my sister and a couple of my relatives about how I came here. I had gotten left in a stroller behind a grocery store or behind a store, and they came and picked me up because my mom had left me there.
We'll have children come in for all these different reasons. Sometimes they're by themselves. A lot of times it's sibling groups, 3 brothers and sisters, 4 or 5 sibling group. We tend to just bring them right into the family. We don't put a whole lot of focus on the new people coming in, the new kids coming in and their problems and their issues. We really just bring it into the whole fold of the family. So we find that usually within a day, 2 at the most, they just come right into the system of things. They are so resilient, these kids. So some of them have gone through things that are almost just unimaginable.
With the kids, I just try to show them as much love as possible. Because honestly, I wish no kid ever has to go through what they have to go through every single day. And it breaks my heart because the kids just, no matter how much they've gone through, they're so resilient. They just jump right back up and they're just like, all right, let's go for it. And it's like, whoa.
Well, obviously it is extremely difficult, no matter how you look at it, to be removed from your biological family for any reason. And so there's that constant loss that they are harboring in their soul and in their heart. I mean, a real true brokenness to the core. For us, we do a lot of praying. We pray all the time. And so we do a lot of devotions together. We do a lot of singing and worship, praying, inviting God to come and heal those broken places. Because I know personally from experience, that's the only thing that would have ever brought any healing to my devastated life. And so because of the healing power of God that has worked so strongly in my own life, I'm confident. I mean, I just know that I know every time that we come together in prayer, every time that we come together in worship, every time the presence of God comes in our midst, He comes with healing. And we can see the children be healed way deep down inside that nothing else can touch but the Spirit of God. And this is our grand room. This is where we all eat dinner together every night. About 30 plus of us are in here every evening, and of course our commercial kitchen, which is great. And this gets used by groups that come all summer long. They stay in this building. They do VBS, they do kids activities, they do projects, they do a lot of cooking for everybody. The house that we've been using for years is a single family ranch style home that has accommodated up to 16 children for almost 30 years. So it's used. It's served us very well. But I know in my heart God's ready to have a house that is just excellent for what we're doing. And so this property next door, when it becomes available, we will be building a custom emergency shelter for up to 15 children. That's an immediate vision. And then we want that house to be a model for what we will be building in South Dakota.
Right here in the United States lies the second poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. Babies born in Somalia are more likely to survive than in this place. The average life expectancy in Afghanistan is longer. With a population of over 40,000, it is the size of Rhode Island and Delaware combined. This place is the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. It is home to the Great Sioux Nation and one of 9 Lakota reservations in the state. The unemployment rate is 80 to 90%, with the average household income at just $4,000 per year. The teen suicide rate is 8 times the national average. Currently, there is no crisis center for youth under the age of 12 on Pine Ridge, and a Naomi House here is also desperately needed.
You know, we're being overwhelmed with methamphetamine, alcohol, drugs, you know, and so much negative hardship that is being, you know, that the people are becoming victim to, that, you know, the innocent children, you know, have, like I said, have nowhere to go and are left on the streets. You know, they're left home alone. And
my grandmother, she gave us 600 acres of tribal land so that we could build a Naomi House for the Lakota Sioux children. And in that year, the Oglala Sioux tribe unanimously voted for us to come and work on the reservation. So we know that's part of the story. We know that's part of the vision. We know that's part of the mandate that is on this ministry. And truthfully, we can see that God would want a safe house like Naomi House on reservations across America.
You know, this is a much needed project here. Like I said, with our homes are in turmoil right now because of the meth out there, the meth addiction, and so, you know, this is something that we really need to move on as quickly as possible so that we can get these children into a safe home.
Naomi House, South Dakota can be an answer to the need in Pine Ridge, expanding the reach of the work in Arizona into the heart of Native America, a land and people still dealing with the long-term trauma of the tragedy at Wounded Knee.
This is the land, and behind you right there is where they want to put a house. Right there. And we already have blueprints. It's going to be a pretty big house to be able to house a lot of kids, some staff. Down there is a good place to put some buildings or some places for when teens come to help.
Rescuing a generation of children from abusive situations and raising them in a safe and loving environment is a step toward breaking unhealthy cycles, both physically and spiritually.
To have children's homes that are kingdom, they're not just, okay, we're going to teach you a Bible verse, but that are actually developing each person's spiritual gifts, that are developing a vision for God for their life, and that are going to see it through, that are going to stick with them and see that carried out, and really building truly what I believe the heart of God is, which is family. He even demonstrated that within the Trinity.
The root is spiritual, and only Jesus can go straight to the root. And the root of that is condemnation, guilt, and shame. And worldly counseling can't remove these because it's spiritual. And so this is the importance of the church, this is the importance of the body of Christ, this is the importance of the Naomi House. Because we can go straight to the root of the problem.
We're fighting so many battles. We're fighting, like I said, the alcohol, the drugs, the homelessness, everything, and every generation, is needing help, and it's difficult and it's hard as a tribal leader, but I feel that Naomi House will just help us to sustain that much more and take us that much more further into the future.
I said, God, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I know you're going to do it. And so whatever you can do, whatever you want to do, you can have your way here. Just have your way. And I can just hear, the kids running around happy, laughing, playing, being healed, being restored.
No matter how many times my sister and my brother told me these stories about my mom and the bad things that she did, I wanted her. I just wanted to be held by her. And so when I turned 8, I believe, they were like, I came home from school and they're like, Lucy, we got this piece of paper saying you can go home to your mom. And I was like the most happiest kid. I literally ran to my room and packed all of my stuff in big black plastic bags. And then my mom showed up and then I got to go home to her.
Success really is not about building more houses with more homes and more beds to bring more children in. Truly, success is reunification of families in a healthy, safe, loving environment. Until that happens, a place like Naomi is vitally important, a safe house, until that's actually accomplished.
I got to spend those 3 incredible years with her. She was clean, sober, happy, and she helped a lot of other people just like her in her situation.
I'm convinced that the same God that set me free in so many areas is the same God that will be able to set a mom free, a dad free, a family free, so that there can be that ultimate reunification.
On the res, the innocence and beauty of childhood is all too often marred by extreme peril and unspeakable trauma. This is an unfortunate reality of growing up Indigenous in America. We have a responsibility to give children a voice and a hope. If we don't, who will? The ongoing work of Naomi House gives them that voice and that hope. It's a place for kids, a place to be warm, a place to be fed, a place to lie down in safety, not fear, a place where the love of God is shown and taught. The harsh realities of growing up Indigenous in America today does not have to be where this story ends. Out of the ashes of brokenness and pain, there is hope. Thanks to you, our donors, partners, and faithful staff of volunteers, Naomi House continues to bring that hope to Native children every day.
think Naomi House is doing a great job of restoring individual lives, not only through some of the programs they have available, but also through the biblical teachings and standing in faith with them to where these kids and these teenagers are restored, their identity is restored, their culture is restored, their life with God is restored, and their family unit is restored. And so they have a great start of bringing healing to another generation. They are affecting generations.
The hope that Naomi House brings to Native children cannot continue without your help. They've been the last and the least. You can be the solution to them not becoming the lost. To donate, volunteer, and connect with us in other vital ways, please visit us at thenaomihouse.org or call 928-587-5737.
The realities that the First Nations people are facing, the statistics, we want to be real, we want to be open and honest about that, but at the same time that our message is one of great hope.
What I see in Naomi House is that it is not only a place of safety, of refuge, a place of healing, but it's also a place where our Native children can come and once again be given the opportunity to be a child.
Where Christ is being shared with our young people, and as we all know, knowing Christ is what brings hope.
Ever since I can remember, Naomi House has been there. And even in my sister's life, I mean, I'm pretty sure if we didn't have Naomi House, I think we would be laying in a ditch somewhere dead, because Naomi House, it's not just a house, it's a family.
You know, the very first thing that God created was a family. You know, He didn't create a government, He didn't create a country. He created a family first.
And something that I think is really cool about the Lakota language is there's no word for the word I or me. It's all, the only word is we or us. And it's that mentality of we are in this together and we are a family.
That's what Naomi House is all about, is restoring and reuniting families, and I appreciate the work they're doing.
Oh, watch it grow. Hope, hope became what I know. All of these expectations, all of these unlived dreams. Hope out of love.
Help Naomi House continue to bring hope to the precious children of Native America. In addition to much-needed financial contributions, your special skills, networking, and time are all vital components in keeping the work of Naomi House alive and thriving. To donate, volunteer, and connect with us in other vital ways, please visit us at thenaomihouse.org or call 928-587-5737.
Oh, watch it.